Welcome to Podcast 83, a regular look at the news, stories, and trends related to Michigan's 83 counties from the Michigan Association of Counties.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Podcast 83, the podcast put on by the Michigan Association of Counties. Chilly Monday here in November, but Jimmy's heart is warm after a big weekend for Jimmy. He got married this weekend, so congratulations to Jimmy and his wife. I don't want to say last words, but any words from the weekend, Jimmy?
You know, it is the one great thing is they say that bad weather is actually really good luck on your wedding day. So we were actually supposed to get rain or snow, and it was supposed to be like 40 degrees. We did this outside. As soon as it started, literally a ray of sun came down and it became warm. So I was like, okay, this is some great luck for us.
It's a great start, and you're a ray of light for us, Jimmy, too.
Oh, well, thank you.
Good start. I will tell you though, I got married in end of May, and it's sleet and freezing rain on my wedding day. So, and I'm still married. So whatever that means.
Good luck. I like that.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what happened last week here in Lansing, and even a little bit of what's going to happen this week. Deena, you want to kick us off a little bit, talk a little bit about public safety grants and what's going on there? Got some information on that?
Yeah, I did. So in the fiscal year 26 budget, there was money set aside for public safety for each county across the state. It is called a public safety revenue sharing payment, but it's not going to go out with your regular revenue sharing payments because the distribution model, again, is based on that taxable value formula that we see in the second part of our regular statutory revenue sharing. That information doesn't get to the Department of Treasury until March of every year. So they need time to get that taxable value information in, evaluate it, post it, and make it available to the counties in case the counties need to make some changes or some corrections to whatever that taxable value is for their county. And then they'll send those checks out in like May or June. So we anticipate probably 2 payments in the calendar year, but not until the spring. So if you're looking for those public safety dollars, just know that you're going to have to wait until next year sometime to get them.
And I think we sent out a schedule with last week's legislative update, so everyone can kind of see what their counties are going to get. Is that right?
Yeah, it's an estimate on
Right.
what we think each county is going to get for their public safety dollars. And yeah, there was a link right in our legislative update last week. So if you've seen it, click on that link and that'll tell you about what to budget for.
Yeah, and our legislative updates are all on our website too. If you didn't get the email, you can go to our website, micounties.org, and check it out on there. So thanks for that, Deena. Let's change gears a little bit. Jimmy, you want to talk a little bit about SNAP benefits, and then I think you had another update as well.
Yeah, so what I'll start with is I'll do with the good news here, and that is House Bill 4726. That is our maintenance of effort bill that we strongly supported, along with the Michigan County Medical Care Facilities Council, passed out of committee, and then we got it voted out of the House almost unanimously. So this goes into the Senate this week. We're going to be, lobbying very hard for that to start moving. Obviously, we have a deadline of December 31st. So, urgency is the key, and we're starting those conversations. Now, as for SNAP, I've decided to start coining this the seesaw, where since the federal government is shut down, we've been getting a lot of mixed signals. Is this money going to be allocated? Is it going to be a lower amount, or is it just going to be held back? In the last 2 weeks, we've had about 3 different developments on this, where the U.S. Department of Agriculture came out and said that they will not be funding this in general, and had started sending out notices to all the different state departments throughout the country saying, hey, you're going to have to start pausing these. Some states, they've decided to fully fund it. But now over the weekend, a federal court in Rhode Island ruled that these funds do need to be released. Still, it's open to interpretation on exactly how much of the money is going to be released. Is it going to be full payments? So as of right now, MDHHS has said that they're going to be doing a pause on these payments until they have a little bit more clarity on where we're going to be at for funding this. So again, we're still in the seesaw. It goes up, it goes down. So we're hoping to get a little bit more clarity here, as these court cases continue.
Well, yeah, and we're sitting here on a Monday, and it sounds like there's been some movement on the federal level to kind of get the federal government back open. So that would impact it obviously as well as they move through their process on their end. And then, just talking about your first bill there, not a lot of time. If we start counting up voting days between now and the end of the year, what we expect the legislative calendar to look like, right? Session days this week, then we're into hunting break, Thanksgiving week. They're not going to be in, what we're hearing is not in the first week in December. So then we're down to kind of the 2 weeks, 6 voting days prior to Christmas. So that sunset bill, we'll want to watch that and provide updates as we see that movement on that. Also, some other interesting points this week that's going to be happening this week is the trial court funding. Sam, you want to talk a little bit about what was released last week, what we're expecting this week, and even just general time frame on that whole process?
So last week, the Alternative Trial Court Funding Work Group had their recommendations approved by the Michigan Judicial Council and then released for public consumption. And then following that, we're going to have a joint hearing in the House and Senate Judiciary Committees this coming Thursday morning. That's November 13th at 9 a.m., where the state court administrator is going to go through what those recommendations look like before the committees. The recommendations are vast. It's, I think, a 111-page document. So at this point, MAC does not yet have a position, but we're looking forward to the committee hearing Thursday. And then, of course, down the line, legislation has to be introduced. So there's a long ways to go before anything is implemented. And then, of course, not forgetting the December 31, 2026 sunset. So working towards that deadline and waiting to hear from the work group on Thursday.
Yeah, while we had representation on all those work group committees, whatever you want to call them, task force, whatever, that does not equate endorsement on our part by any means. I think, we were one of many in those committees. So, you have a voice, but not the overarching voice necessarily. So we'll see where the bills end up, where they land as far as where our membership kind of gets behind or doesn't get behind, and that's to be determined. So thanks for the heads up on that. And I'm sure we'll have an greater update next week once that committee hearing. And I would guess they're probably going to have multiple committee hearings before, we even see bills, or once bills are introduced, more committee hearings. So I think we've got a long ways to go before any implementation on anything on that end. And then finally, as we're moving through, which is funny to say, we just passed the state budget. We'll be working on another budget here in 2 months, the next year's budget, as we just finished one. But a key component of that budget was the road funding that was negotiated alongside the budget, and a major component of the road funding package was an excise tax on marijuana. Deena, Sam, do you guys want to talk a little bit about what's going on with that excise tax and what the status is?
Absolutely. So as we all know, the legislature, as part of the road funding package, passed the 24% excise tax on marijuana, which drew some controversy and criticism, particularly from the cannabis industry. And so as a result, the Michigan Cannabis Industry Association is suing the state of Michigan in the Court of Claims. Oral arguments have been scheduled for November 25th. So I'm curious to see how that goes. I think the question at this point that the industry is posing is, because a ballot initiative legalized recreational marijuana, I think in 2018, several years ago now, did the legislature need a 2/3 majority vote to implement this tax, which they did not get a 2/3 majority vote. So it remains to be seen, was that 2/3 vote necessary? Is the way they moved on this legislation constitutional? So yeah, oral arguments the 25th, and then the tax begins January 1. So
yeah, I was just thinking that it's timing will be interesting on that, because I mean, whichever way the judge rules, I'm so sure the other side will appeal. And how long does that process take? And if you have a January 1 date to start enacting, how does that work? Is there a preliminary injunction on that? I mean, a lot of moving parts there to see what happens with that whole tax. So thanks
Yeah,
for that
but
update. Go
it's
ahead.
like
Dan.
over $400 million though, that is supposed to be going toward the road package. So I think that puts that whole entire road funding package, not the whole package, but that portion of it for sure, up in question.
Yeah,
So
and
it's more than just, is the tax legal? Are they going to collect it? But then what does that mean for dollars going out to fix the local roads?
well, Deena, let's not sell it short. It was $420 million. Yes,
Steve. Yes,
ironically.
Steve. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It does. I mean, that's significant component of that package that if that goes away, it's like you're almost back to not quite to square one, but almost half of it's or 40% of it's going away. So it'd be interesting to see how what happens there with that. So all right, anything else this week that I didn't touch on that anyone else wanted to hit on? All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll be back next week with kind of an update to kind of talk a little about what happened this coming week in the legislature. If you're not participating, look at Operation Greenlight, which is a NACO initiative that supports. If you put a green light out, we'd love to see your pictures. Send them to us here at MAC. We'd highlight them in our update. We'll pass them along to NACO. Of course, supporting veterans as November 11th is Veterans Day. We have one in our office that's going up, even though we're on a floor. We're trying to light up our floor in green at night. So if you have any pictures you can pass on, please pass them along here. All our emails are on our website, micounties.org. So thanks everyone and have a good week.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of Podcast 83.